So the project that we worked on with the 11th and 12th graders here at Science Leadership Academy asked the students to go home to watch the State of the Union address. And then we set up a Twitter hashtag where the kids could participate on Twitter and follow what their classmates were saying and commentary and questions that they had. In addition, so that was in public, and then in addition we set up a Moodle chat, which is more of a walled classroom space that we have here at school that allowed them to have a conversation rolling in a chat room that was moderated by teachers and behind a wall. So there were two options really for kids to jump into the conversation wherever they felt comfortable. The goal of the assignment for the 11th graders who were in American history class was to listen specifically to the economic policies that Obama was proposing and link them to the FDR New Deal policies that we had been studying in class. So they had a particular lens by which they were listening. For the 12th graders, who in my American government class, they were basically listening to just general governmental structures, the different branches that were mentioned, the different levels of government that were focused upon, and tie that up with a semester's worth of learning about American government. The students also, kind of on a fun note, filled out bingo cards before they went home with different keywords that they thought would be mentioned during the debate or during the State of the Union. And so they were all playing bingo at the same time. So when you look at some of the commentary the kids have, you'll see bingo pop up. So there was a little bit of fun, definitely a lot of conversation and engagement with ideas that your average teenager is not necessarily engaging in.
Well, you answered 3 of my questions.
Awesome.
So what kind of connections did you expect our students to make?
Basically, I was hoping for students to see connections between the current events that we talk about in class and what Obama was talking about. And then connections between each other with regard to answering each other's questions and informing each other. Sometimes people posted links if somebody had a question where they needed to know more information, and just more the socialness of experiencing something like a big governmental speech or some shared moment where they're all at home, but we can kind of come around the ideas using the digital spaces. And so those were the basic connections.
Okay. Would you recommend this exercise to classrooms across the country, and if so, why?
The thing I like about this particular way of handling this is that I gave students both the option to be in public and not, and I think that's an important designation. And some kids chose not to participate at all, and that was fine too. I try not to mandate much of this because it honestly, once it becomes mandatory, you lose a little bit of the buy-in from the students. So I would definitely encourage more classrooms to use this type of approach to engage students around ideas that are timely in the current events and find connections in the classroom, but hesitate to mandate that everybody go home and at 9 o'clock sit down and do the thing, and it isn't as kind of free-flowing and as spontaneous a conversation in that way. So I definitely encourage it, but be careful about the mandating of things and really make it about the conversation and something genuine and organic.
Okay. A lot of students were on Twitter, Facebook, Moodle. Do you think that being in public, private, and sort of a middle on Facebook was important to this, and why do you think that?
I think giving kids an option is really nice. Some students want to know more, but they don't like necessarily putting that out in public. Some kids just don't use Twitter. Some kids, don't want to friend you on Facebook. Totally understand, which is fine. And to have different platforms where people feel comfortable interacting in, I think was a real nice blend of options here. And I was lucky enough that some of my colleagues were able to jump in and help monitor some of the spaces and talk to them. In total, there were a potential of 130 students to participate, and I think about 2/3 of them participated in one or the other form of this particular interaction.
Okay. Last question. Do you think we enjoyed it overall?
I think there was a lot of positive feedback for it. Everybody seemed to be having a lot of fun. People are cracking very clever political jokes. Again, you don't see that much happening in the average teenagers, which is a lot of fun for me. For the seniors that came back, it was very nice to hear from them that there was almost nothing in that they didn't understand. The first time that the students watched it in the 11th grade, they sometimes felt a little perplexed by the whole thing, and sometimes they didn't get all of it, even conversing about it. but the seniors, second year in a row watching it.